scratch the surface of our Super Bee, explain to you why it has an orange fender on it, do a motor swap in our Cuda to take on the power tour. We're going to bring you up to speed on Project Jeffrey, and we're also going to go for a ride in Rick Septon's 1970 Mercury Cyclone. The Super Bee's kind of the poster child of the direction we want to go with this whole RMC thing. I found it wasting away, I struck a deal with the owner, and soon after getting it home, I realized it needed everything to be perfect. And I simply didn't have the money, so it became a shelf in my garage. I piled things on top of it until I finally decided to just fix the brakes, drivetrain, and odds and ends to get it back on the road. Never mind all the cosmetics and the rust, I just wanted to drive the thing. So with the help of my brother David, we made it happen. Shortly after getting the car to look the way that I wanted it to, I got involved in a fender bender in West Virginia. Of course, ruined the fender, front bumper, headlight bezel, and even chipped up my brand new hood. Fortunately, having a lot of friends in the Mopar world paid off. I was able to get a headlight bezel and a fender for free. Even though the fender doesn't quite fit the color scheme, we can't bring ourselves to painting it because our mission statement here at Ratty Muscle Cars is to wear our battle scars as a badge of honor. So I hope you guys let us know in the comment section how you guys feel about it, whether we should primer the fender, paint it back green, or leave it as orange. The look I was going for is I wanted to make it look like a time capsule car that, you know, was raced back in the 70s and kind of just put up and left. But the car is in fact a real Super Bee. It's a factory 383 automatic, and the car gets about 17 miles a gallon with the 323 gears. It's got a sure grip out back and 275 60s. I threw the set of traction bars on there only to capture the look. A lot of Mopar guys are going to say those things don't do anything for you. Well, all right, maybe, but the fact is that I just wanted it to look like a 70s street machine, and a lot of guys were running those back then, so that was part of the look that I wanted to go for. The car is mechanically sound. It's got the big radiator, aluminum heads, and balanced, and it drives down the road very well. Sometimes I just like to get this thing out in the field and do some donuts in it. Other times I like to take it into town, get something to eat. It's just a good runaround car. It gets decent fuel mileage, and it just runs phenomenal. Log truck motor. Trying to get on the power tour. About halfway through, they're going to come through from Memphis to Birmingham, Alabama. We're going to try to meet them in Tupelo, Mississippi, and this is going to be our Chariot. And right now, as you can see, it does not have an engine in it. We've got the 340 sitting over here inside of the shop. We've got to put an intake on it, put the oil pan on it, and we got to swap torque converters. Now also, it'd be a travesty not to at least address the appearance of this thing somewhat. We're not trying to go full resto, obviously. That's not what we do here at Ratty Muscle Cars. We're going to fire up the pressure washer, get it cleaned up, and then hopefully stab the motor in either tonight or tomorrow and get this thing back on the road and ready for the power tour. You can actually time this thing. I always like to put a little Sharpie paint on the marks. So, oh, look, I'm terrible. See? I'm no art major, that's for sure.
Get this thing on the road and beat the streets up with this hopefully run a lot better than that 360 that y'all saw before.
What else is there to worry about?
Nothing, dude. The only thing that could stop us is the pocket.
Tuesday, June 9th. The power tour's already started. They'll be stopping in Memphis tonight, so we're gonna get this thing out on the road for the first time of actually driving it and figuring out all the small things that we need to button up and address. But hopefully we'll be ready to go by tomorrow. They'll be going from Memphis to Birmingham, and we're gonna head on off the pass in Tupelo, Mississippi, and hopefully this thing's gonna be greened up and ready to go. So still gotta go to the gas station, wash the windows, and we gotta swap the front tires out. So we're going to the tire shop right now, and hopefully this thing will be all good and ready for us to drive it tomorrow.
Rated at Chuck Norris. It's got Chuck Norris power, dude. The next morning we got up and we did one final look over the car to ensure that we hadn't missed anything. Then we headed out for Tupelo to intercept the power tour. Our buddy Mike in his 68 Galaxy and Eric in his Buick Grand National.
We're going 0 miles per hour, but keeping up with traffic.
As we pulled into Birmingham, the streets were packed full of all makes and models of hot rods. The Chevrolets were out in full force with the Chevelles, Octavinos, and Cudas running up and down the streets. Everything from rat rods to full restorations to survivor cars. Of course, we were really happy to see the large amount of Ratty muscle cars that were out as well.
Got me bats and snaps all over me. Look in the mirror and I can't see. Must be the vampire, I can't see me. Just another bender along weed for me.
Morning ritual. Fluid.
Replace fluid. Replacing fluids is better than replacing parts, which is what we did yesterday. So
That's the afternoon ritual.
Any plans to fix this right here?
I mean,
Fix what?
Looks fixed to
when you
me.
say fix, so you mean like a different color zip tie? I was thinking black might fit the car better. I mean, of course I gotta cut the ends of the zip ties. That's just sloppy craftsmanship.
Then it gets rid of your brakes, all right?
Do you have the valve covers? The matching ones?
I have another valve cover that's a Mickey Thompson valve cover. It doesn't match that.
What size motor is it?
350. We got out out of a van. Got it running the Thursday before Power Tour started. And just trial and error the entire
What all did you have to change in the motor?
Well, we changed the original motor had a quadrijet on it, so we put old 350 that was in here. We swapped the intake and the carb. So the carb does run a little rich with this motor, but it runs, so we don't want to change it right now.
What all new parts are in it?
Alternator, water pump, hoses, fuel line, gas tank, and some brake lines.
Nice, nice. And you did the brakes, you put new rotors on it, and
we did
wheel bearings?
new front brakes, new wheel bearings, and new calipers actually too, and then new shoes in the rear.
How's the transmission shifting?
Second gear grinds.
Is it a new clutch?
Yeah, it's new clutch, but it's not performance-y. I bought a heavy-duty clutch for this trip, and we tried to put the trans on, and the trans wasn't going in, and there was different splines on the input of the trans, so...
You know what kind of rear gears are in it?
It's 308s.
308s. What kind of RPM are you turning going down the highway?
Following you guys about 60, 62, I think we go at, 63. We're at like 25, 26.
You calculated fuel mileage at all?
I think with the carb running as rich as it is, I think we're getting like 12 or 13.
All right.
So not as good as I'd like. So, and then our secondary stuck open for a little bit of the trip, so we were getting even worse then. The window crank just falls off.
Oh, damn.
Our speedo stopped working yesterday. The only two gauges that really work now consistently are the volt gauge and the gas gauge.
Oh, that sucks.
Our tack goes out when you turn the lights on, so I guess we're good on that.
You got good water temp gauge, right?
Yeah.
That's all I worry about.
Right at the bottom of that one.
Nobody got power brakes.
Nobody. We're lucky to have brakes.
Yeah.
Let alone power.
Oh, that's
They're leg powered. See, I'm a huge fan of this right here.
The zip tie to zip tie?
Holding the wires up. I did that on ours.
Well, look at how official the actual separator is on there.
Yeah, so we all got zip tie wire looms.
Why not?
Getting some all over the car.
Oh man, my paint's getting really...
Damn it. You're lucky you get it on the windshield and then it would rain. And that's it.
What happened real fast? When the headlights are flashing.
Alright.
Yeah, that's over the parking lights. Other than enduring a little bit of rain, the cars were doing great after we left Birmingham until Murphy's Law, of course, had to strike. And there was a little bit of noise that John was noticing in the 55, so we pulled over for that, investigated in the rear, only to find out that the noise was actually a caliper bolt that had backed off in the front. So could have been worse than it was. Simple fix, got back on the road without issue. Pulling into Baton Rouge, the last day of the Power Tour, and the weather looks absolutely terrible. We're gonna roll in, hopefully we'll get a good parking spot, and hopefully the rain holds back and it rains north of here or something. The skies look like they're about to let out. I'd like to thank MSD and Excel for letting us park next to their truck alongside of the Hoonigans down at the last stop of the Power Tour in Baton Rouge, and also be able to take refuge from the rain when it finally hit underneath their tent. So thanks again, MSD and Excel, and hope to see you guys next year. If you haven't already, be sure to check out the Hoonigan guys on their YouTube page. They're the guys that are bringing you the Gymkhana videos and the Recoil videos. Recoil 3 just dropped, and it's awesome. So be sure to check that out. And rumor has it, Gymkhana 8 might just be on its way. So be sure to look for it on the Hoonigan's YouTube page. Brian, I feel like you're sponsored by Krispy Kreme or something? Like you planted that seed in our head yesterday? Like now we all want Krispy Kreme? Yeah. And now everybody wants it.
See?
The hot now. See?
He's gonna go back and tell him, like, listen, Krispy Kreme.
Next week, you see a big Krispy Kreme logo on the side. God damn it, he got me.
I fucking knew it.
It's probably already sitting in your shop, just waiting to go on.
You going to get donuts?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Overall, the trip was an absolute huge success. The car performed flawlessly. We had a starter relay go down once. The Hoonigan guys even experienced a little bit of issues. Radiator hose for the Nova. The 55 had a little bit of brake noise, easily fixed. And the Formula Firebird performed absolutely flawlessly. To bring you all up to speed on Project Jeffrey, it's a 1970 Nova that we got off the family of this young man named Jeffrey Scott, who was tragically killed a couple years ago. He was aiming to make it a street strip car, and we also purchased his V8 Blazer, and we're going to use the Blazer as parts to get the Nova back together, and then we want to get this thing back on the road kind of as a memorial to him and bring some closure to the family as well. I kind of like the stripes on here. Like, I don't know, I wanted to put a tunnel ram on it, coming out of the hood, like some, you know, like it ate through the hood, but the stripes that somebody painted on here is growing on me. What I plan to do is I'm going to take the motor out of that Blazer. That's a 350 camel hump head, it's got an RPM intake, it's got Demon carburetor, MSD distributor, MSD 6AL box. What I want to do is take it directly out of that Blazer and stuff it right into this Nova. All I'm going to do is unscrew things from the firewall, the box and all that stuff, put it on top, and just transplant it completely. Almost be like he put this car together, you know? Obviously, we're going to be doing it here at Ratty Muscle Cars for him, but a lot of the nuts and bolts, the last time they've been checked and the last time they've been dealt with is going to be by Jeffrey Scott. So it's going to be his car again, you know, and it's going to be really cool to take his mom for a ride in it. Now, after we got it sprayed off, it started looking pretty good. It's a pretty solid car. There's not really any Bondo in it to speak of. There's some in the quarter panels and whatnot. The frame's good on it. It's got subframe connectors. It clearly has been raced in the back there. There's the holes for the generator hookups. It's got the battery kill, some stuff I'll probably weld up and get rid of altogether. Should be a hot little street car.
That'll be fun.
We're here with Rick and his 1970 Mercury Cyclone. It packs a 429 Cobra jet. See how she pulls.
I saved this car from Crusher, basically, in 1998. Answered an ad in the San Jose Mercury from Fremont, California, next to a barn.
You got automatic, right?
Yes.
All right. What did you got? Is it
C6.
C6. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What's out back?
Out back right now is some 389 gears.
389s.
I did have 456s at one time.
And your drive down here was what? 30 minutes?
25 miles.
Okay.
And at
25 miles.
Gas.
Full tank of gas. You had to stop for gas on the ride. So.
It's terrible.
Got any plans to paint the car anytime soon?
Yes,
or what's
I do. My dream is to make it a David Pearson 21 car.
Okay, yeah. You know, what was that? Purelator, right?
Yes.
Purelator. Yeah.
This is what everybody, when I go to a car show, this is what gets them.
What all's in the motor here? What kind of compression we looking at? You're running on
10.5 to 1 Thunder jet heads. I did not use the Cobra jet heads. They're too big for the street.
Okay.
So this is a 10.5 to 1. And the only way I'm able to run that high compression is I have a 10.5 quart oiling system, a Cobra pan, and 2 quarts on the filter. That keeps the cylinder head temp down.
I see you got a chain on here. Is that indication of a broken motor mount, or is
that's
that just
to prevent the broken motor mount? Prop clear. I got 2 cherry door panels tucked away at home. Prepped the whole floor, you know.
Oh man, it's solid.
Yeah. So
I guess that's that California thing for you right there.
I got every piece to put this car together. I have door hinges, I have all the trim, get a windshield. Headliner is amazingly cherry, you know? It's time and money.
We want to do an interview and a ride-along on each episode, just like this one on Rick's Cyclone. So please send in your pics for consideration to rattymuscle@yahoo.com.
Burning down that dusty road, why not show the wheel? Goddamn maniac 24/7, I can't see or feel. I got a little blondie on me, she's young and dirty.
When you're out driving these things around and nobody in traffic has one like you, you're in a sea of Camrys and Priuses and brand new F-Series pickup trucks, and you're the only guy that's driving around in something old. So there's definitely a sense of pride that comes with that. Everybody has to take a second look because people are like, is this guy really driving this car? It's 2015 and he's driving this 50-year-old car. I think that as more people, they start to get in line with the Ratty Muscle car idea, you're going to see more and more of these things out on the road. In our second episode, we're going to bring you footage from our first event, which we're now calling the RMC Sunday Drive. At our first one, we had 13 cars show up, and we're going to do interviews and ride-alongs with them. And we're also going to get our hands dirty on Project Jeffrey and hopefully get it back on the road so we can take his mom in it. So be sure to subscribe below and also follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
Last 4 days have been behind me, facing the bed in the last 3 days to say one of the trip his house turned out